Wait a minute, info. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, info. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, info. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, info. Wait a minute. It's the info man and the Lions Den. 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 It's the info man, yup. It's the Lions Den, yup. You can't fuck with us, nope. So stop trying then. Still, it's the info man, yup. It's the Lions Den, yup. You can't fuck with us, nope. So stop trying then. Still heavyweight, so they try to infiltrate with hate. Knock my mill up off my plate, but we do not take the bait. Don't hesitate. When it's time to do it to it, we still do. They bullshit like power steering fluid. Wait a minute, Lions Den. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Lions Den. Wait a minute. It's the info man and the Lions Den. 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 Raise your ass up, out your slumber. This ain't no dream. You can't fuck with Lion or info team. Raise your ass up, out your slumber. This ain't no dream. You can't fuck with Lion or info team. Raise your ass up, out your slumber. This ain't no dream. You can't fuck with Lion or info team. Raise your ass up, out your slumber. This ain't no dream. You can't fuck with Lion or info team. It's the info man and the Lions Den. It's the info man and the Lions Den. It's the info man and the Lions Den. It's the info man and the Lions Den.
All right, everybody, we're back. This is Information Man. Lions Den is with me. Lions Den, how you doing, brother?
Everything is everything, brother. How you doing this evening?
I'm fine. We got a special guest. We're going to introduce him very soon, folks, but let's do some respect to the chat room. Let's give some respect to everybody in the chat room that's with us this evening. And I'm sure there'll be more folks that will come in as the evening goes on. Brother, give a little love to folks in the chat room if you can.
Yeah.
If you do that, let me make sure that I give everybody a clap that did show up so far. Thank you. We very much appreciate it, brother. Lions Den, do your thing, brothers, as you always do.
Yeah, I gotta get shout out to Paul's in the building, brother Danubian's in the building, Cap's in the building, Belay Begay's in the building, Jonathan Hill's in the building. We got Black Bruce Wayne Jr.'s in the building. Welcome. And Brenda Johnson just walked in.
All right, it's good to hear you. Get to see you in the chat room, sister. I hope you're doing well. It's about 2 a.m. in the morning back there in the UK where the sister is right now. So she said that she was going to try her best to check us out. I appreciate you being with us, Sister Johnson. And first of all, let's do a test right now. If everybody can hear my voice or Lions Den, can you press a 1 in the chat room? We want to make sure that the audio is correct so that we don't have to be running our mouths and nothing's coming out that you can hear. So go ahead and press the 1 in the chat if you can hear our voice or my voice at this particular time. Okay, that's great. Great, so everybody can hear.
Oh, yeah.
What I want to say to everybody is that I want to thank you for being here. Like I told you before, and I see we got brother Rockwaller has just come in. Gab Talk Media is in the house. Afrocentric Anatomy TV's in the house. Love you. C's is in the house. Folks are coming in. Jonathan Hill once again. What I want to say to everybody is that I'm going to continue to keep pushing the envelope and bringing people onto the platform that are relevant, that have something to say. But right now, this is most important. We've got a brother Holip, who is a part of an organization that you have more than likely have heard of. And if you haven't heard of it, you're going to hear of it tonight. I'm talking about the B.A.I.O. That's what I'm talking about. And we're going to have Brother Hollett explain what that is all about. We as Black people in America keep talking about we got to have our own. We talk about having Black businesses. We talk about having our own sort of society. But the question is, how many of us are really willing and ready to really engage in that type of lifestyle, that type of ideology through actions? Now, this brother is a part of a powerful organization. They have chapters around the country. He's going to explain where those chapters are, how you can join. I'm going to periodically put the website to the B.A.I.O. in the chat room. If there's any trolls that come into the chat room, I don't want them timed out. I want them completely blocked immediately. Immediately. Bobby Bowman, I see you, brother. Welcome, 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 brother. I see you in the chat room. I want you to block them immediately if they come in trying to intrude into this discussion tonight. So with that said, let me play something that should open up your mind, because this brother uses this as one of the opening passages and opening powerful statements in some of his videos on his channel. So let me go ahead and play this right now, because it should open up one's mind.
The black man serve the white man. Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do enriches the European?
I'm talking about Brother Hollis of the B.A.I.O. that's with us right now. Brother, let me give you a clap. Brother Hollis, say some words to the people out there, brother. I'm glad that you're with us. I'm glad that you're giving us some of your time, brother. I know you're busy. Go ahead and lay it on the folks out there. Tell them who you are, what you about, brother.
Peace, everybody. What's up? This is Holip.
Brother Holip.
I'm hearing myself. Are you hearing me like echo?
Is it echo? Let me see something. I hear you, but I don't hear an echo. But let me
okay.
What I can do to eliminate that. How's that sound?
Hello, hello, hello.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you. You're clear.
Okay, good, good. Yeah, I don't hear it now.
Yeah, you're
Peace,
clear.
what's
brother.
up? Thank you for having me on the show, brother.
Oh yeah, I was looking forward to.
Glad we finally we were able to like coordinate it.
Oh yeah, I know it's been a little crazy, but you know what? I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that the good folks are here to hear what you've got to say. The organization is dynamic, and let me first say to you, brother, and I've done my research, and I want to thank everybody once again for being here. Let everybody who may or may not know about the organization, the B.A.I.O., what does it stand for? What does it mean, or what does it stand for? And how did this whole the organization itself, how did it get started? What's the origins of the organization, brother?
Okay, well, the first thing I want to do is I don't want to paraphrase, so I'm just going to go straight to the About Us section at the B.A.I.O. Ning site. And it says, the B.A.I.O. is a geopolitical organization of African American and African diaspora victims, descendants, and POWs of the transatlantic slave trade, scattered throughout the diaspora, living as second and third class citizens in foreign lands. Our condition is tied to the legacy of slavery and genocide of African people in North America and the African diaspora. So first, let's start with that.
Okay.
This, and you know, I hate to have to even say this, but it is what it is. That's who this organization is for. There's no ambiguity. There's no confusion that we're dealing with descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. So if you consider yourself indigenous Native American, it has nothing to do with you. Our group is not in conflict with anything that you're doing. It just has nothing to do with you. So I just wanted to get that out of the way because I don't want to get into this back and forth about whether we're Native American or African and all that stuff. It doesn't matter. This is who the BAIO is designed for. It's designed for descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. So if that doesn't apply to you, nothing to do with you.
Okay.
Now, how did the group start? Basically, and I kind of touched on this on my last broadcast. It's not just me because I didn't just start it, but it was me and about Brother College Genesis. I don't know if you're familiar with him. Minister DeWood of 13 Revolution Radio. A couple other brothers who don't have shows, but we communicate with each other offline and online. I would say one of my brothers who recently passed, like last year. So I would say all in all about maybe 6 to 8 people who were constantly communicating with each other, constantly talking about solutions. Like we're looking at this problem of what's going on in America, and we're trying to decide how we should best address it, or what's the best way to address it. Now, initially, the BAIO started out on a street activist level, where we were talking about addressing police brutality in the community.
Okay.
And it started off, that was the initial stages of it. And that was basically based on the where we were ideologically at that time. Kala and Minister were in that initial stage, but they're in the BAIO as it exists now, dealing with international issues and stuff like that. That's when they became involved. But in the initial stages, it was more like street level, street activists, like street patrol, things like that. That's what we were concerned with. How it ended up growing to what it is now is that we just looked at trying to do the street patrols and stuff like that, and how ineffective it was. Because for one, I live in Brooklyn, New York, and in Brooklyn, New York, they have a community in Crown Heights that the Hasidic Jews live in. And the Hasidic Jews, basically, they're like a little, like everybody talks about nation within a nation. They actually have almost like a nation within a nation within New York. They have their own street patrol cars. They have their own EMS trucks. They have everything they can take care of in-house in their community. Mm-hmm. And we were looking at that and saying, wow, it would be cool if Black people could, replicate that type of system. The problem was Jewish people in that community, everybody in that community contributes to having those things. So nobody in their community is starving. Nobody in the community, everybody, even the people that do those street patrols and work for the community, they're getting paid to do that by the people of the community. In our community, nobody's paying people to do that. So you're expecting people to be out in the streets 4 to 8 hours with no money, no support system, nothing in place. So you kind of figured out how that went. That really went nowhere. So I did, and me and my brother Dev, who, like I said, passed a year ago, we did like a backup and a regroup and say, wait a minute, what can we do to address these problems? Because as my brother Minister DeWood says, it's like the street activist level and that type of way of addressing our problems in America is almost like doing data entry. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's like you can bust your ass and you can do a whole lot of work that day, but all that's going to happen is you come in the next day and there's going to be another pile of work on your desk. So you're doing a lot of work, but you're not really accomplishing anything. And so what we were talking about, just nationhood and land and infrastructure and STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. It's like me, Dev, Paula, Minister, Earl Hardaway, and a few other people. So in the process of us doing this and building with each other, the BAIO kind of came across just organically. It was like a culmination of all the information that all of us had and the way that we saw it. Now, initially, a lot of people in the organization were for the nation within a nation.
Okay.
And I don't know if you know what that means, but it's people who think that we're going to have a nation within a nation here in America. Oh. And there used to be a time when I was a part of that. And then I learned more. That's just the way it is. And when you learn more, you have to change your ideology based on the information, or else you're just having arrested development. You're just doing stuff because it feels good and you're not progressing based on updated information. So with the updated information, we determined that you're not going to have, because when you talk about a nation within a nation, what you're basically saying is you're trying to establish where you want your base of operations. And that's an important phrase that I hope people pay attention to. Base of operations.
Base of operation. Now, let me just say this to you, brother. So, so that everybody out there gets it clear. When you talk about land, nationhood,
right,
infrastructure, you're not talking about what you just said earlier. You're not talking about creating that just here in America. You're saying that we got to create greener pastures elsewhere.
Right. I'm keep in mind, I'm talking about the base.
The base. Okay.
Because there's about it's 44 to 50 million Black people here in America.
Okay.
We're all not going to get up and get on boats and have some mass exodus to the continent. And it's never been about that. What we're about is establishing the base. We need to have a base of operations, a base where we conduct business, a base where we can control policy without being under the umbrella of the United States government. Now, that does not mean, like I said, that we're going to all just pick up and go to Africa. That's not what this is about. It's about establishing the base. Now, the question is, what would happen or what would become of the people that decide to stay in America? What would that be considered? When you have a nation state, anything outside of that nation state is basically a satellite nation.
Okay.
So if you're in America, any community here in America would be a satellite nation of our nation state on the continent.
You know why? You know what, brother? You're absolutely right, because that's what, when you look at the Jewish community, they already have it. They have
exactly. This is nothing new.
Yeah, and they can go back to Israel, or
right,
and they're accepted there. So they have a homeland abroad, and then they have what you call a satellite state here in America, and they've had it for quite some time.
Right, and you can be as hardcore nationalist as you want to as a Jew and still be in America.
Well, let me ask you this question. I don't want to go too far, because you're making great points right now, brother. One of the things that kills me is that, why is it that Black people can't? Let me just say this. I'm just going to generalize. Why is it that it appears that some Black people have this ideology that they can't have what you call a satellite homeland and a national homeland? Why can't we say, you know what, Africa is going to be our home. We're going to set up some type of structure there while also maintaining some sort of structure here. A lot of Black folks will say, well, you know, Black people put in a lot of hard work and sweat in this country, our ancestors. And so therefore, I'm not going to get up and leave America to go somewhere else that I don't know. I may not know that much about. I may be afraid. But we're so grounded, and I believe we're grounded here because of the trans-American slave experience has made us almost like, and I heard you say this in some of your videos, that when we talk about the slave plantation, it's not just the slave plantation, is the whole goddamn country called America.
Right.
The whole damn country is a slave plantation. And so it seems like other groups, Italians, Jews, other groups can live here and still recognize their homeland. Now, I understand there's a difference. We came over here as slaves. A lot of them came over here with their clothes on their back. They got their language and culture intact. So that still grounds them. Language and all of that culture grounds you to where you come from. Black people, we've been scattered about. So just briefly, brother, what are your thoughts about what I just stated as it relates to exactly what you're talking about, if I'm not going too crazy here?
No, I'm glad you asked that question, because the answer to the question is no one asked you to go. And this is very important. Like, people need to understand that the purpose of the BAIO is not to convince Black people to leave America. The purpose of the BAIO is to connect with people of like mind who are nationalists and African-centered progressives who already want to go to Africa.
Okay.
So I've always made this point. If you don't want to go to Africa, why would you be against the people who want to go? Like, if we decide that we are going to collectively get a small contingent of people that want to go over to a country in Africa and develop a nation state, because you don't want to go to Africa, are you going to go out on the front of the runway in front of the plane and stop it from taking off? Like, why? I don't understand, like, why somebody would, if you're not interested in going to Africa, this really is not about you.
Okay.
It's only about the people that are interested in going to the continent. So there's not going to be any reverse transatlantic slave trade. Nobody's going to force anyone to leave America when they don't want to. So it's really a non-issue as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Now, brother, I did a video which brought me a lot of traction. It goes by the title, Why African Americans Are Moving Back to Africa. And on that video, I've got lots of comments. I have some comments where people are saying, encouraging and saying, yes, go. I have brothers and sisters from the homeland that are saying, yes, come here. We welcome you here. We want you to come here and connect with us, do business here, get infrastructure, right? Then I've got folks, trolls and folks, Black, white, whatever color, that are saying horrible things. Now, this is the one that always gets me, Brother Hollett. You'll have Black folks that will say, oh, why do I want to go to Africa when it's bad over there? You know, the Africans sold us into slavery. It's bad over there. And the thing that kills me is that, okay, it's true. There were Africans that sold us in slavery, specifically if you look at the Ghana and you look at Nigeria, the UBO, their involvement in the slave trade. But guess what? We go to Europe. We get excited when we go to France and Italy, and guess what? They were involved in the slave trade. You go to the UK. The Europeans were involved in our slavery, but yet you still go over there and give them your money. And
you still sleeping and swirling with white men and white women here in America. So my answer to that question is, forgive the African like you forgave everybody else.
But I've heard you. I was listening to one of your programs, and I really do believe that one of the things that grounds us, along with the cultural conditioning, brother. And what's up, Doug? Good to see you here, brother. One of the things that grounds us is the cultural conditioning that we've gone through the slavery, the Reconstruction, sharecropping, all the different, the Jim Crow, the Black codes, all that has played a role on our psyche, brother. And on top of that, I heard you say this in one of your programs with your guests, and I agree with it. Black folks, let's just be honest. We love this place. And in some way, we still have a love affair with white folks. And we got Black folks that will say, hey, I don't like white folks. But the reality is that in some ways, we still have a love affair. What people would say is the slave master. We won't let what I would say Colonel Sanders go.
Yeah, I can prove it too. I can prove what you're saying is true, and give an example of infrastructure at the same time.
Go right ahead, brother.
You always hear there are a lot of Black folks that talk about the white man is the devil. You hear a lot of, F the crap. Yo, is it all right for me to curse on this show?
Brother, express yourself within me.
Okay. I want to be out of order.
I think this is the deal with me, brother. Speak your mind. Sometimes I like to tell people to speak in code because it does us no good to get our channel shut down when we're still trying to push a message to the masses. So a lot of times I speak in code, but you know what, brother? I know your lingo, brother. Go ahead and express yourself. I'm not going to say.
Sorry, brother. It's the Brooklyn in me.
No. Let the Brooklyn come out. Let the Brooklyn come out. Let the Brooklyn come out.
But you hear these people talking about the white man is the devil, F the cracker, blah, 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 you know. And I was using this as an example, like whenever there's a snowstorm in the city, I'm going to use New York specifically. And it basically shuts everybody in. But when the snowstorm is over and it's time to clean up, I don't see any Black Power construction crews out there. So these same people who hate the white man will let the white man clean up stuff for them. Let the white man maintain the infrastructure for them. So how much hatred do you really have against this white man when you give him total control of your very existence?
Well, you will have, and I heard you state this too, brother, in the show, you will have even Black folks, just people in general, who will say, you know, Black folks, you shouldn't have hate towards those that have oppressed you. Let's forgive. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. I really felt some kind of way, brother, when that despicable individual, that white boy, walked into the church in South Carolina. They gave him a damn Burger King. He walked into the church, killed those beautiful 9 Black folks in the church praying, minding their own damn business. And then after that happened, you had a funeral, you had the funeral, and you had Obama rocking everybody to sleep with all that Al Green singing. And you had Black folks singing hymns and singing forgiveness. And even in the case of Walter Scott, who got shot in the back in South Carolina by that despicable cops that tried to drop the little stun gun on him, his family was singing on CNN, singing spiritual hymns, rocking us to sleep with all that spiritual hymns. And my thing is, every time Black folks go through something, we've always got these Negro preachers and Black folks singing hymns and rocking us to sleep instead of us saying, hell no, we're not going to take this anymore. We're going to do something about this. And with that said, just like you've got these preachers running around meeting with Trump over this week, talking about he's the only pro-Black president that we've had. And you've got John Gray sitting up there trying to, you know, give a video trying to do some damage control because they know that the Negro know he made a mistake going up there. And history has shown that they've always used the preachers to pacify the Black community, to tell us to bow our heads in prayer, that it's going to be a better day in the by and the byways. We're going to get a heaven above us when we're living in hell. We're dealing with a hell on earth and pray for a heaven when everyone else is getting a damn heaven. That's what I got to say, brother.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because all of the things that you just mentioned, and most people that's in the chat room who's in the BAIO, they can pretty much predict what I'm going to say.
Go right ahead.
It gets to the meat of the matter, and it gets to that first question that I asked, where I said, the first question that you asked, Black Power, American, and the militant integrationist. When we talk about we, who is we?
Hold on, wait.
Who are we talking about? And that may sound like a silly question, you know, to some people that never heard this before. But what you got to understand is, from our perspective, and I believe it's a correct perspective, on a socioeconomic and political level, there is no we. There is no us, and there is no our. There's no collective, organized anything that's Black. Black folks is a vague abstraction, that term.
Okay, brother.
And we exist in this country as a vague abstraction. The only thing that makes us similar is our aesthetic similarities.
Okay, brother, if you don't mind, I have an audio of you that I must fire up that plays into what you're talking about now. I must play this audio because you put it where the ghost could get it with this audio. And Lions Den, after I play this audio and the brother speaks to this audio, I want you to start asking your questions as well, brother. Okay. We're going to get to you, but I've got to play this because it's powerful. It caught my attention, and here it goes.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. We definitely sorry. We definitely have an agenda that's clear and concise. And like I said, I don't know if you probably didn't catch the show, but I did a show with our brother Dinas, the mayor of Searchville, Uhuru, and we did a show called The 3 Questions to Ask. No, the 3 questions to destroy exactly a Black Power American and a militant integrationist. And the 3 questions was, number 1, who is we, us, and our? Number 2, whoa, why am I drawing a blank? I want to go in the order. Yo, help me out, Bill. What was it? It was number 1, who is we, us, and our? Oh, I got it. Number 2, what is the Black agenda? And number 3, what is the end game for Black people here in America? Those are the 3.
Exactly.
And we've been asking that, and nobody's really answered it on their end.
Okay, brother, and I had to play that. You made some mention of that, brother. Those statements. You live by those statements, brother? You ready to live by those statements?
Yes, I do. And I'm ready to have somebody answer those questions.
Okay, if anybody in the chat room would like to document in the chat room any answers to those questions, Lions Den, you heard a very profound statement that the brother made on there. Do you have anything around that issue to ask? Do you have an answer to those questions that the brother profanely brought up? Do you have an answer? Or do you want to ask the brother a question? Or go ahead, brother. You do your thing.
All right, I got 3 questions actually, but I'm going to ask the last 2 later on in this broadcast. But the first question I would like to ask is, what would the B.A.I.O. What was the B.A.I.O's future for generations coming up to come?
I'm sorry, I didn't really hear you that well. You said, what would the future become like for future?
What did the organization? What I mean is, what is the organization, the B.A.I.O? What would the future, like the generations coming up? What would the B.A.I.O's future for bringing these brothers and sisters coming together? That's what I meant to ask.
Oh, okay, yeah. The B.A.I.O is a means to an end. It's not the be all and end all, because an organization can never be a nation. Okay. The reason why we're forming the B.A.I.O at this particular point is that, when I make the statement, there is no us, there is no our, there is no we are trying to form an actual tangible and concrete we, us, and our with the development of the B.A.I.O. Because just to build, I'm not really going too off, but I'm dealing with your question. But I want people to really understand that when I make that statement that there is no we, you got to understand that because the we that everybody refers to, it's like Black folks, us, like they keep making this, why don't we do this? Why don't Black folks do this? Black folks need to blah, 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 blah. It's like, those are really vague and abstract concepts, because who are you talking about when you make that statement? What Black folks, there's a lot of Black folks, and we all believe in a lot of different things. So who are you exactly speaking to when you say what we need to do? And how can we do anything if we're vague and we're abstract? To me, logically, the only way we can do something if we actually become a tangible and concrete thing, an actual collective. So until we become that, it's really pointless to talk about what we can do, because we can't do anything if we are not organized. So being an organized body represents the tangible and the concrete to me. So when you say how would that translate into the future? If things go according to how they're supposed to go, and enough people it gains enough momentum where we can actually establish the nation state, there actually wouldn't be a need for a B.A.I.O once the nation state is established. Other than maybe it would exist sort of like as a cultural outreach type thing, where we can connect with other countries in Africa and things like that. It would take on more like a diplomatic role. But in the future, the way that I see it, we're going to have a nation of our own and have the most technically advanced nation in the world, the highest quality of life for our people in the world. That's what I want for the future. And if you ask most BAIO members, that's what the vision that they see for the future as well. Now let's twist that around and let's ask the nation within a nation. We can do it right here, people. What is your end game here in America? In your perfect world, how would Black people exist in America? Nobody's really answered that for me. Now we can answer. We can tell you what our vision is. If you go to any BAIO member and you ask them, what is the Black agenda? You know what they're going to say? Land, infrastructure, and nationhood.
Let me say this. This is powerful, brother. Because when I checked out the site and had a chance to look at it, that was tangible to me. Land. Land is the most important thing you can have to one's culture. Nationhood. We have to have a unified nationhood amongst ourselves to do for self, to self-sustain ourselves. And you need the land to do that, and then infrastructure. Once you get the land, you want to build the infrastructure. I heard on some of your videos to talk about building parks, talk about building infrastructure that can create a beautiful world for Black people. Now, I heard you say that a lot of people will laugh and say, oh, what y'all talking about? Oh, we can't do that. You know, you got your critics, you're going to have your haters out there because once again, we're still in love with this plantation called America. We've got some Black folks who still have this love affair with the white structure, white people, even though they may say that they're not with them, they still in some ways rock with them. Then you've got people, brother, that will try to convince us that we can somehow escape from our hell here in North America by trying to philosophize our way out of a situation, try to think that we're going to go to another world or something like that. Now, let me play this sound bite because this is very important. And once again, you put it where the ghost could get it on this sound bite, and it must be played, or I would not be honest if I did not put this out there. And I think this is something that we gotta start looking at, Black folks, get out of our fantasies and look at the tangible, because we're the ones that are catching hell in this country. And we're not going to be able to escape through some dream philosophy. Listen up to this. Listen up to this.
Vague and abstract to me. Justice, what does that mean in relationship to Black people? Because every time I hear, like when you hear, what it reeked to me of is, and maybe I'm wrong, but this is what it sounds like to me. It sounds to me like we're embracing justice on a universal level, like justice for the universe. Fuck the universe. This may be controversial to say, but I don't give a fuck about the universe. Everybody wants Black folks to be the fucking landlords of the goddamn universe. Are we sitting up there trying to balance the whole goddamn universe while everybody else is running around doing whatever the fuck they want to do with no concern about the goddamn universe? I don't give a shit about no justice in some universal, vague, abstract sense. You know what the answer to white supremacy is? And I said this to Gus T. Renegade. The answer to white supremacy is land, infrastructure, and nationhood. That's tangible. That's concrete. Not some vague, abstract notion of justice for the world and for the universe. I don't give a shit about the universe. Nobody else gives a fuck about Black people except Black people. Black people like me, Black people who's nationalists, Black people who want power. So don't come to me with that universal bullshit. I don't give a shit. Like I said before, and I said this on the show, and nobody's ever responds to this when I say it. Black people hating people. They say, oh, don't hate because that's an extinction level event. If Black people hate anybody, white people, anybody, especially white, but we'll stick with white people. If Black people hate white people, that's an extinction level event. The earth is going to spin off its axis. Dogs is going to start playing with cats. There's going to be Mad Max people running through the fucking roads and highways. it's going to be complete and utter chaos if black people hate, because that's going to throw the whole balance of the universe off, us hating somebody. Everybody can hate us, and the universe just keeps on fucking, the world just keeps on spinning.
Okay.
Vague and abstract to me.
Okay, brother. Once again, do you stand by those words? Because
yes, I do.
I've been listening to that today, and I've been thinking to myself, that is something that we do as black people. We get into Fruit Loops and rainbow dreams, and we think we're going to take ourselves somewhere and escape from our situation instead of dealing with our situation head on. Damn it, we don't know. Look, we don't know. No one's come back from the dead to tell us what the by and by is. We don't know it. We can philosophize it. We can use all this. We can philosophize it all we want. We can use spiritual quotes, scientific quotes. None of us know exactly what's out there when we leave this world in our human third dimension bodies. We don't know. What we do know right now is that we are in a battle for our lives, for our hearts, our minds, and our souls, living in a country called America that is in itself a plantation. And the fact of the matter is, are we going to continue to have this plantation mentality? Now, I bet you any kind of money, brother, that you have, as you've gone out in your life and you've told people about this organization, I bet you've had plenty of black folks run away from you, scared out. Oh, no. Oh, what are you talking about? I bet you've had plenty of black folks run away from you, scared or don't want to deal with anything when it comes to doing for self. What are your thoughts? You made a powerful statement that I played, brother. What are your thoughts?
I get people that I'm getting feedback again.
All right, I know what I need to do. Boom. The feedback is gone now. Okay. There you go.
Yeah, we get people that are not down with the message, and most people, to be quite honest with you, have Stockholm syndrome. Black people in America have Stockholm syndrome. It's a combination of the Stockholm syndrome when it comes to like the Black Power Americans and the militant integrationists. That's the people who on the surface want to be pro-black, but don't want to leave America. That's basically what I call them. Black Power Americans and militant integrationists. They want to fight for their rights and to fight to be equal here in America, or either they want to exist fighting the white man inside of America forever. It's like the Batman versus the Joker. You know, that's the relationship they want to maintain here in America. And me personally, I don't want my children to be engaged in a Batman versus the Joker relationship with white people. I would like my children to actually grow up in an environment where they probably never even deal with white people. They've only seen their people in power. If anybody saw Black Panther, I'm talking about Wakanda. Basically. Why is it that we have placed white people as the center of our universe where everything has to happen and revolve around them? Because I'm gonna tell you something. What's that song? It's a thin line between love and hate.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
You know, hating the white man and loving the white man is really like, you know, what's the common thing in both of those things? The white man. Whether you hating him or loving him, you're still placing him at the center of your universe. Here's a radical thought. How about we place ourselves at the center of our universe?
Exactly. Let me just say something to you, brother. Listening to some of your programs, this is what you said that I really enjoyed. And let me give a shout out to Sister Nicole Ali. This is a deep sister, brother. I've got you. You've got to interview this sister. Nicole Ali is a dynamic sister. She's in the chat room. Thank you for being here, sister. Let me ask you this, brother. Peace to Sister Nicole Ali. Let me ask you this question. God, before I lose my train of thought here, brother, there's so much that you've said. What I noticed is that you specifically made a statement on one of your programs where you said, I don't spend a lot of time talking about white folks and talking about what they are. We know what they are. You spend time on your show, from what I gather, talking about solutions, what Black people need to do, join an organization, get organized, focus on how we can start building towards land, nationhood, and infrastructure. You're talking tangible stuff. It does us no good to get on these airwaves over and over again talking about what white people. We already know that we have our issues when it comes to Europeans. We know what they've done to us. It's time, and this is why I had to get you on here, because I'm trying to evolve my program into solutions. It's time for us to start getting towards solutions and stop regurgitating the same narrative throughout these channels and start talking about joining organizations, get involved in something that's about the liberation. And I think that's part of the ideology of the B.A.I.O, the total African liberation. Is that a correct statement that I'm just made, brother, or am I incorrect?
No, you're correct. You're definitely correct.
And so,
and I'll just say, like, to build on what you just said, I'll use, because people love when I use analogies, so I'm going to use an analogy in this case. Are you a boxing person?
Oh, I love boxing. Matter of fact, if you like great boxing commentary and analysis, you got to check out Marlowe's Corner. Brother's on YouTube, have an excellent boxing channel, Marlowe's Corner. I had to give him that plug because the brother's been a supporter of the program.
Okay, so, I'm gonna definitely check him out.
Marlowe's Corner.
Yeah.
Go right ahead,
so you're familiar. I want to use somebody who's active and not somebody that's inactive, like Floyd Mayweather. Okay. Floyd Mayweather doesn't fight anymore, but you have Terrence Crawford, you have Errol Spence. You familiar with those guys?
I've heard of him, brother.
Yeah, I'm kind Terrence Crawford is probably like the pound for pound right now.
Okay.
In terms of now, let's say me, Holip tells you, you know what, information man, I can whoop Terrence Crawford's ass. But I don't go to the gym. I don't train. I don't box. I don't do any of the things that Terrence Crawford does to get him to the point where he's become the champion of the world. But in my mind, I can beat him. Wouldn't you say that I'm full of shit?
Yeah, I would say that you got some peanuts growing out of your head.
Yeah. So I equate that with people who think that they're going to do something to the white man here in America. I don't believe you. I think you're bullshitting. So all of this, we can do it right here. We're going to organize. You had 400 years to do something to this white man in America. You ain't did shit.
Well,
I'm coming out very aggressively against anybody who's kicking that we can do it right here in America BS. So if they want to step up to the plate, I will be more than willing to engage with them.
Well, you know what, brother? I'm going to make this one statement. What I've noticed is that you have a hell of a lot of, you have black folks that will take it to you on these YouTube and these social media outlets. They'll hate on you. They'll talk about you like a dog, characterize you in an unfavorable manner. They don't take that same venom towards the very individuals that are oppressing us. They may talk about it, but we spend more time tearing each other down. And I've been saying this, I've been noticing this a lot more and more. We black people are spending more time tearing one another down. That does not negate the fact that there are black men and women out there that are doing positive things in the community, that are working together, such as the B.A.I.O. Okay, they're out there. I'm not going to negate that. But within our community, we've got individuals who get up on these social medias, lie, backstab you, have two-face, and all sorts of stuff. And I just think it's a damn shame that you want to get on here, you want to get on these airways, and you want to simply provide your people information that could hopefully liberate them, empower them, bring individuals such as yourself that have an organization that we can join forces with and join in our local areas. And you would think that black folks, black people in general, and people in general would appreciate that and just say, you know what, let's appreciate that. But instead, we want to get into gossip talk about one another, and it's really a shame. And it almost gets me to the point where I feel like, damn, is there any hope for us? I scratched my head and I asked that question, brother.
Well, that's the reason why the BAIO, one of the reasons why the BAIO was created, the social network on Ning, is that we feel that if you are the type of person that wants real black power, because everybody keeps screaming black power, but not many people really want black power. Like, you can't scream black power and still be behind the American flag. If you want black power, then that means you want your own nation. There's no way around it. If you don't want your own nation, then basically what you want to be is equal with white people in America. Good luck with that. And what the BAIO does is they are designed specifically for people like you. When you're feeling frustrated, it's nice if you have people in your local area that you can call up to and say, listen, brother, sister, talk me down. I'm having a real rough time here. And you have other people that have like mind and other people that have the same goal and the same vision as you. We can be a support system for each other, which is something that we're not. Let me just say this. There's so much that I want to say, so forgive me.
No. Go right ahead, brother. This is your show, brother.
In America, and this is the reason why I say there is no we, there is no us, and there is no our. Now, if there is no we, no us, and no our here in America, what does that mean for each individual black person that's here? It means that you are on your own. You don't have any backup. You don't have no support system. You're on your own. So how can you have leadership and black talking heads and representatives out here talking about black folks, what we got to do this. And yet, when it comes to you dealing with your personal situation in terms of your job, getting money, providing food and clothing and shelter for your family, you're on your own. Well, guess what? And this is what the vast majority of black people have done. I'm not saying this is what they're going to do. This is what they're doing now. They're saying, fuck the collective. Why am I worried about what black people and like some vague abstract concept? I got to do for me. And is there any reason? And can you blame them? What leadership have we had that's kicking the same thing that the BAIO is kicking? I remember this. I always refer to this scene from that movie, The Social Network, with Mark Zuckerberg.
Yes.
And he made a statement to the guys who sued him about Facebook. And in the courtroom, he said, if you guys were the inventors of Facebook, you would have invented Facebook.
Wow.
And I feel the same way about the BAIO and land infrastructure nationhood. If these guys had done what they were supposed to do, the BAIO wouldn't even be in existence. There wouldn't be a need for it. But the reason why it's in existence and the reason why we're here talking about land infrastructure and nationhood is because we're filling a void. Nobody's talking about it. Name one black mainstream talking head that's saying that we need to have our own nation. Give me one.
You know what, brother? I can't give you one because it goes into some of the themes that you've been talking about on your program, that there's no such thing as black leadership. There's no such thing. Now, once upon a time, you might have had an Adam Clayton Powell, a Malcolm X, but we do tend, as black people, to be revisionist. We tend to be people who love to look at the rosy part of our history and say, we like to pull out Malcolm X, which I love Malcolm X. We like to pull out, as I just said, Adam Clayton Powell or Dr. King. But the problem is that we're in 2018 and there ain't no Dr. Martin Luther King, whatever you think of him. There is no Malcolm X walking through that door. None of these brothers are alive today to deal with any of these problems that we face. And the question is, where is our leadership? Because it damn sure ain't those preachers sitting up there talking about Donald Trump is the most pro-black president in history. Okay?
That doesn't really even shock me, brother. Because when you don't have any organization, what you basically have is this free-for-all of anybody. You got self-appointed leadership where people just come up and they say, well, I'm representing black folks. No black folks elected them into that position. You know, they just take it upon themselves. Remember when Steve Harvey met with Trump?
Yes.
And everybody got upset. I had a different take on it.
Okay. What was your take, brother? What was your take?
My take was, why are people getting upset with Steve? And keep in mind, I ain't no Steve Harvey fan at all. I blasted on him a few times. But why are people acting as if Steve Harvey represents us? Steve Harvey represents Steve Harvey. So if he has a conversation with Trump, why does anybody think that this affects the black nation? Like, he's not no rep. Nobody voted that nigga into office.
Well,
that was my take on it. It's like to take him to task with meeting with Trump. Like, hey man, you know, what's the point? All right, so you don't want him to meet with Trump. Who do you want to meet with Trump? That's a better question. Since you don't want Steve Harvey to meet with him, who do you want to meet with him? Who represents this vague, abstract nation that you keep talking about?
Mm-hmm. Lions, then, what would be your question to the brother? He asked a very good question. Why did we did feel some kind of way about Steve Harvey? You had Jim Brown, Kanye West, these kind of individuals. Why did we feel some kind of way about it when the brother is right? Brother Hollett is right. These people are not elected. Now we know that they're celebrities. So, and we know that black folks, we love celebrities. We get into this whole, he can sing, he can dance, we just love that damn entertainment crap. We gotta get. So Lions, then you want to ask some questions around that area, brother?
I always want to ask, how can anybody join the BIO if they're interested?
Oh, that's a good question. It's a good question.
Oh, let me put the link in. I think I have it here.
I got the link. You got to put it on in. I think I modded you up, brother. So I
linked the About Us section so people can actually read the whole About Us section, because I didn't want to do that on the show. It's not that long, but I don't want to just do that when people can just click on the link and read. But basically, if you're interested in if you think that the concept of black folks having a land of their own and building infrastructure, and I keep saying infrastructure, and the people that's in the circle understand what I mean when I talk about infrastructure. But I want to give just an explanation to the average person who's just listening to this and probably hearing it for the first time. Infrastructure there's hard and there's soft infrastructure in the nation. The hard infrastructure is to fix things in your nation: your roads, your highways, your buildings, your tolls, your bridges, your electrical lines, your gas piping, your water distribution system. All of this stuff is a part of the infrastructure. How America was able to build is that when you building up your infrastructure and developing the land, you're providing jobs for your people. So when people talk about jobs, it's like, all right, what jobs are you talking about? Like, if you want white folks to provide jobs for black people, isn't that kind of weak? How is that black power? How is black power going to the government and begging them to provide jobs for your people? Wouldn't it make more sense if you had your own land and you were building up your infrastructure, that the building up of the infrastructure would provide the jobs for your people?
Yeah, and when you go to them for the jobs, which we have seen throughout the history of this country, which has devastated areas where black people were doing well at one point in time, your Detroits, all your areas where you have the industrial revolution of the car industry. Look at what happened. Soon as they give you the jobs, they can take it away from you at any time because you never own the infrastructure of that job. They take it away from you, and when they take the jobs away, you're unemployed, you're out, broken out of doors, and now you're out there, you're struggling. You're absolutely right. When they employ us, or when they are building up the infrastructure for the jobs, they can take it away from you at any time. And then you're left with nothing that you didn't build yourself. So it's almost like being on a plantation all over again. It's almost, you're like a sharecropper all over again.
Yeah, people don't realize what they're saying. When you say we got to leave the plantation, well, we already left the plantation. If your idea of the plantation is some house in the South, I think we left that already.
Okay.
So it obviously can't be the house. So what exactly is the plantation that you're referring to when you say we need to leave it? They say stuff and they don't realize what they're saying. The plantation's America. That's the plantation. If you don't think that it's America, then tell me what the plantation is. When you say we got to leave the plantation, what are you talking about?
Well, let me just. I'm gonna be. I believe in being an honest broker here.
Mm-hmm.
I have you're educating me, brother, too. I have used that term before. I have used that term that black people, sometimes we have a plantation mentality and we need to get ourselves off the plantation. Now, I'm guilty of making that statement myself, but in reality, you're 100% right that America itself, as it relates to black people in this country, it is one giant plantation. So in the reality is that we have never left the plantation. Even when you look at some of our communities, which you know how they redline us, how they push us into certain areas, that's all, that in itself is a plantation itself. It's all plantation. They put black people and push us in certain parts of the city, certain parts of the environment to kind of shut us off. And when I was in college, I took a course in urban studies. And it was very clear to me in taking that course that the way, if you look at most areas that black people live or that we were pushed into through either Negro removal, gentrification, whatever you want to call it, it is very clear to me that they want to rope us into certain areas to control us. I mean, look at what happened during the Rodney King incident. You notice how in South Central LA, they made sure all the black people in South Central LA were not able to get out of that area to cause any other damage to the rest of LA.
You can do that. You can do that when you control the infrastructure.
Thank you. When you control the infrastructure, you can control the masses. And then you control the communication systems.
Right.
Next.
That's why you can bug out, you can go off, you can pull white people out of trucks, you can lose your mind. And infrastructure, what it does is after you've gotten it out your system, then they'll go back to the videotapes and start finding each and every one of you and putting you in jail.
And then when the infrastructure is destroyed or communities are destroyed, then the same people who either destroyed the community or the same people in that community will beg the white men and say, please build us a grocery store. We're in a food desert. Build us a new Walmart. Come on, bring Walmart in here because they're going to give us some jobs.
You got to laugh to keep from crying, man. Because I have to laugh because if I think about it, I'll cry.
Let me hit this button real quick because this is powerful information and I need to hit this button real quick.
Information is power.
Yes, indeed. Information is power. Lionsden, if you could, brother, won't you give a little respect to folks that are in the chat room? And then ask any question you need to ask, my brother.
Okay. I'd like to give a shout out to Avery Hodge, Adua, Kofi O. Newton. Let's see, Island Boy. Let's see, of course, Brother Nubian, as always. Bele Bigay. Let's see, Dick Murrah. I'm going to go straight back here. Sonia Seas and the Water Sniper, Big L.
All right, Big Al. What's up, Big Al? He's been following us from the very beginning. Big Al and Water Sniper. Good to see those brothers. And Sonia Seas and Brother Dubian. Love them.
Love like the sun, and that's basically it so far.
Okay. Lionsden, I want you to ask questions, brothers. Whatever you want to ask, brother. Go right ahead. This is good.
What's the my question is what's the B.A.I.O. What's make it different than any other organizations out there in the black community?
Because we want a nation of our own. There's no other organization I can think of that is rallying around black people in America and in the diaspora having a nation of their own. Because currently, black folks in America and people and Africans in the diaspora are living as second and third class citizens in foreign lands. We've been ripped from the motherland, and we've been basically brought over and used as slave labor to build up other people's countries. And we've never had the ability to control our own piece of territory and control policy on that territory. So that within itself makes us radically different than any organization, because most so-called black organizations are trying to struggle for civil rights and struggle for equality with white people here in America. Most black talking heads, most mainstream black pundits, They are not about nationhood. And if you're sitting there saying, gee, I wonder if he's talking about, so yeah, I'm talking about all of them. They're not for nationhood. They're for talking black, and they're vague and they're abstract. And let me tell you, oh, and I got to say this.
Go ahead. Go ahead. We want the authentic you.
There's no accident why black folks in America are in the position that they're in. Look, think about Japan. Japan was literally destroyed with atomic bombs. But yet they were able to rebuild and have their nation restored in a shorter period of time than we've had. Why? Because you can destroy the land. They didn't destroy the Japanese. The Japanese were still a people. The Japanese still had their culture. And they rebuilt.
Let me tell you something, brother. I interviewed a brother who lives in Japan. He goes by the name Black in Japan. If he's listening, I give him a shout out. He lives in Japan. He got there through the military. He's been there about 16 years. What he told me is that Japanese people play by a code to the point that it's in their DNA. If he says, when you go to their country, everyone is seen as a foreigner if you're not Japanese. If you want to set up business, you got to go through a whole separate business district amongst people that are foreigners like you. You can't set up shop. You can't set up some shop to sell to them and dictate to them anything, because they have the nationhood there. It's their country. It's their way of the highway. And he said, one of the things that I think black people, we still struggle with, not only do they play by a code, but it's in their DNA and the way they move and they act. And, and so that's a country, that's Japanese. Okay. So a lot of times we as black people, we'll talk about we may say things about other ethnic groups. You know, I'm not down with this whole immigration thing, this whole, DACA situation. It got nothing to do with black folks. We got to focus on what we need to do. But at the same time, we need to really examine how these other groups operate, particularly groups like the Japanese and other cultures, where they will be selfish to a fault to themselves, and they don't give a damn how you feel about it, which is why I like what they're trying to do in South Africa right now. They're trying to get some, they're in South Africa, they're operating on a code. I just got the report today that they're saying that they just passed a law in their parliament to take land away from the white folks in South Africa without any compensation, any money given to them. And I say hallelujah to it. Matter of fact, Can
I address something?
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Somebody, I don't know if it's a sister or brother, but it's Takia Jet says, it's not comparable though. I think she's referring to the Japanese thing. No one is infiltrating their land and stealing their culture, and they were not slaves for 400 years. And I agree with that. Whoever that is, they're 100% correct. But there was a reason why I made the Japanese point, because I was going somewhere with that. It is my position that the reason why we're in the position that we're in right now, it can't just be the white man. The white man is not Thanos. The white man don't have the infinity gauntlet with all the stones and snapping his fingers, making people disappear. The white man is not all powerful as people make him out to be. The only way we are in this position that we are in right now is black involvement. That means that there's a certain portion of our people that get paid a handsome fee for us being where we are. And that's as real as it gets.
I want to say something right here, brother. Takia Jet, I love her. This sister's been following me from day one. She's absolutely
it's a sister. Okay, peace, sis.
Sister. She's absolutely right. They haven't gone through this sort of experiences that we as black people have. Now, we know Japanese were put in camps here in America, but they weren't treated in the way that we were treated. But what I would say is that what I'm really trying to point out is the fact that their code, the fact that they're willing to discriminate when it comes to just being about themselves. And I'm wondering, what is it going to take, Brother Holip? What is it going to take for black people to have the same sort of ideology where we're willing to discriminate for the best of ourselves, and that we can get off of this sort of issue that we have with wanting to tear down one another on social media? When is it going to take for us to start getting on that accord? Or will we ever? Because I'm getting to a point where I'm beginning to feel that there may be some, may not be no hope, but may not be hope, but there should be hope. And at the same time, I also believe that we can't save every Black person. There only may be a small percentage of us that go forward, and the rest of them that are not with it, the hell with them.
Well, let me make you feel better.
Okay.
I'll give you some hope and some encouragement. Right now in the BAIO, you have people all over America, in states all over America, that's joining the BAIO and connecting with people in their state. So you have to start somewhere. And I believe the BAIO is a perfect place to start. What we're doing now is we're gathering, I call it the mustering stage, where you muster in the army, you basically see, what do we have to work with? How many people do we have? How many guns do we have? How many bullets do we have? How much, supplies, blah, blah, blah. What you're doing is you're basically calling up your resources to see, what do you have when you go into this battle? So when people ask, well, what have you done in the BAIO? It's really a question is irrelevant, and it doesn't really make any sense, because we're in the process of building the BAIO. We're in the process of building the we. We're in the process of building the our and the us, building the tangible and concrete collective. This is the process that we're going through now. So when we talk, if let's say at the end game of the BAIO, we have every Black person in each state has joined the BAIO in a perfect world, right?
Yes.
Every Black person in America has joined the BAIO. Not every Black person, but Black people that want a nation of their own in each state has joined the BAIO. And let's say the BAIO has, I say, 2 million members.
Okay.
2 million members with skilled laborers, meaning we have people that specialize in all types of professions. We have doctors, we have engineers, we have technicians, we have dentists, we have all of this, every aspect of nationhood that you possibly can have, we possess as a BAIO.
Okay. Brother.
Now we can negotiate with anybody, any African country we can negotiate with. Because now we actually have a we. Now we actually have a us. Now we actually have an our, and we're bringing something to the table. And here's another thing. I want to address this too. People have this thing, like I hear a lot of people saying, well, what makes you think that Africans going to let you come into their land and take over their land? Number one, nobody's taking over anything. Number one. Second, last time I checked, there was a transatlantic slave trade, right?
Exactly.
Where did they get those Africans from?
Let's see. They came from the western part of Africa, Gold Coast.
Africa, right?
Africa, exactly.
So you mean to tell me that the continent is not ours? The continent doesn't belong to us? The motherland is not our motherland? So only the continental African has the market on Africa? Really?
Really? That's right.
I strongly disagree with you if you feel that way. And nobody's taking over anything, because we are currently working with brothers and sisters on the continent. So it's not some abstract idea that African Americans and African diasporans are going to work with Africans on the continent. It is happening right now. It's happening in Kenya right now. It's happening in Angola right now. It's happening in Ghana right now. It's happening in South Africa right now. It's happening all over the continent right now. So when people say Africans can't work with Africans in America, you are pulling that shit out of your ass. You don't know what you're talking about. You're speaking out of complete and utter ignorance, because it's already happening.
Yeah, brother, let me just say this right here to everybody. And we got Brother Gab Talk Media. We got my man Underrated Darkness that's in the house right now. Gab Talk Media has a statement that I need to read that's profound, but I'm going to remind everybody, the BAIO has chapters in Africa. They have a chapter in Nigeria, if I'm not mistaken. and they have a chapter in Ghana. So this whole thing that black people can't work with black folks in the diaspora is not true. You have black organizations, pan-African organizations that are going over there, working with our folks, with our people in the continent. So what the brother is saying is very much true. Brother Gab Talk made a statement that I want to read here, and he says, we need to stop trying to be so exclusive. And are in our ideology. Don't be so exclusive in our ideology and band together. So what he's saying basically is let's not be so exclusive, but let's try to band together. I would agree with that, Brother Gab Talk Media, but there are black people amongst us.
Can I ask a question?
Go right ahead.
What is that? What does he mean by that? I just want some clarity.
See. Brother Gab, write another statement in the chat room. I think that the brother is trying to say, because I've talked to this brother before and I've seen his program. I think he's a brother who's about unification of people coming together and not having ideologies that I think black people. Gab is for black people coming together, working together, and not having ideologies that separate us. And I think that's what he's trying to say. But Brother Gab, if you could write another statement in the chat room to clarify what you are trying to convey to us. And what's up, Quest, aka COG, brother? Once again, thank you for the promo, the songs, brother. They're popping, love it. But Gab Talk Media, if you could put another statement in the chat room to clarify, because I don't really want to speak for you. I'm sort of and I know what they say when you assume you make an ass out of you and me.
While we're waiting for that, I just wanted to say something that this particular and I can speak for myself in this regards. When it comes to I feel like, and the sisters did a show on this. I think it was their last show on last Saturday. If it's like trying to convince a black person in America that nationhood is the way to go, it's sort of like trying to convince a homeless person that you can provide food, clothing, and shelter for them. It's like if I go to a homeless person who's out in the streets desolate and I say, yo, brother, I can, if you come with me, I can help you, get some clothes on you and cover you up. And he's like, well, I don't know, brother. Can you give me a PowerPoint presentation and tell me how me having food, clothing, and shelter is going to work out for me? Mm-hmm. Doesn't it seem ridiculous? Mm. That's why we're not here to convince anybody. If you're still on the fence about whether or not you need a nation, or whether or not you need black power or control, socioeconomic and political control over your own environment, the B.A.I.O. is not for you. It's just not for you. The B.A.I.O. is for people who want land, infrastructure, nationhood. They want to control the socioeconomic and political context of their environment. That's who it's for. Okay. We're not trying to convince you. So if you see the condition that our people are here in America, and you're cool with that, and you don't think that we need to control our own land, then more power to you. Peace be unto you.
Brother, let me ask you this. Let me read another question. Gab Talk Media said that I was right. He just is simply saying that he's about the unification of black people coming together, and he doesn't want to engage in ideologies that break us apart. But
he needs to join the B.A.I.O.
Okay, B.A.I.O, brother. But I contend that there are black people that we're not going to be able to work with. We can't save everybody. Of
course.
Now let me read this from Sister Sonia C's. Now she spoke her mind, brother, and I want to see what your thoughts are on this. God, chat room's moving a little. She says you can get black men to come together by the tons of thousands, all emerging and ready if you want to attack black women. Now that's her statement. She feels that when black men, she's saying in a general sense that black men, we're able to come together when it comes to attacking. And I don't just think it's black women.
I totally disagree with that statement.
I believe that black people in general will come together just to attack each other, especially on social medias. I don't think it's just about black women. We know that Jason Black and Cynthia G had a situation that happened a few weeks ago, but I don't think it's just about us, black men attacking black women. You've got black women on the social medias that attack black men as well. I think it's about black people fighting against each other. And what makes us look buffoonish is that we have a bigger enemy to deal with than to be fighting each other. And when we get caught up in word semantics and talking about people, it makes us look very small in the bigger scope of what our real issues are. Anyone want to speak to that? Or I know, Brother Holip, you had something you were about to say. I just had to say that.
Yeah, we at the B.A.I.O. are not even involved in that black man, black woman back and forth warfare going on online. And one thing I'll say is that online is like a funhouse mirror of what reality really is. You know? We don't argue with women in the B.A.I.O. As a matter of fact, the women have taken basically a lead in the B.A.I.O. We are about a meritocracy. What can you do for the nation? Be you male or female? What can you do? Nobody's in the B.A.I.O. asking, yo, what gender are you? Are you a male or you female? What we want to know is, where are you from? What do you do?
Okay, that's fair.
That's what we concentrate on. We don't concentrate on religion. We don't concentrate on any of these personal social issues. What you will see in that group is land, infrastructure, nationhood. Everything is centered around that. So if your plan is to come into the B.A.I.O. and talk about your religion, this is not the place for you. Even though we have vastly different people in there. There's people that's Christians, there's people that's Muslims, there's people that's atheists. Can you tell me another group where you can get all those people together?
You don't normally see that. You don't know.
Well, you got it at the B.A.I.O.
I find that very interesting, brother, because I've been saying this with Lions Den. We've been saying this quite a bit. It seems like one of the things Lions Den, you can speak to this, Lions Den, religion. It seems to divide us, Lions Den. You want to speak to that, brother?
Yeah, the problem with that is that, you always use religion as your personal game, like Christians versus Muslims, Muslims versus Jewish, or stuff like that. And the problem is that we don't come together as a people, but we always divide it as a religion. So that's the point I'm making, is that without using religion, how can we come together as a people?
Without using religion?
Exactly.
Well, we've already done it. Land, infrastructure, nationhood.
So let me just say this, brother. So let me just say this for everybody listening to reinforce what you're talking about. Tell me if I'm wrong or right, I'm going to make this statement. If we as black people would focus more on land, nationhood, infrastructure, building our own nation, then we would not have time to get caught up in what our religions are, our religious philosophies are, because we would have one goal in mind. And I say, once again, land, nationhood, and infrastructure. If we can focus on that and put aside religion, I know from personal experience from being in fraternal organizations that you have individuals that can be Republican, Democrat, whatever. When they go behind closed doors in their organizations and close those doors, they work as one in accord, no matter what their politics are. If that can happen, black people can certainly do that. But that I've been noticing that is the one thing that becomes a problem for us as a people, that we can't get away from putting people down because they're this religion and they're that religion. And we're all living, as you said, brother, in a damn plantation called America. We're all in the same damn boat.
Well, like there's a quote that I have on my desk that says, great minds think of ideas. The average mind thinks of places and things, and a small mind thinks of people. We at the B.A.I.O. are dealing with the great minds, the people who think about ideas and concepts. And those people are going to be the people that map out the socioeconomic and political blueprint for the nation. So those other people, if you're on the people level, if you're on that level where you're just thinking about people and social issues and religion and stuff, there's no problem with that. There's no problem with it. It's just that you won't be in any position of power. And another thing I want to address is people that's sitting back asking, what can the BAI do for them? The answer is nothing.
Now,
because if you're sitting back expecting some organization, because you have got to get in the game. This is a totally new paradigm. People are used to sitting back, watching some charismatic leader twisting the wind for them. No. In the BAIO, it doesn't get down like that. You have to join, you have to meet other people of like mind, and you have to associate, network with each other, and build with each other. You have to be personally involved in the nationhood discussion. You cannot be sitting back, twisting, with your legs crossed, with your hand on your chin. What can the BAI do for me? What can you do for our nation? Because that's all the BAIO is about. It's about, like I said, it's a means to an end. Do you agree that Black people should have a nation of their own? If you agree that Black people should have a nation of their own, why aren't you joining the organization? Because first of all, let me just put aside people's fears, because everybody's afraid of the Illuminati and the white man and the Bilderbergs and all this other crazy Alex Jones shit. Do you know who maintains the BAIO? It's about 8 people who contribute on a monthly basis to pay for the website. All Black. Do we make any money from it? No. Do we charge membership fees? No. On my channel, on our channels, is there any super chats? No.
No. Matter of fact,
have we been promoting our Patreon page to the people? Have we been promoting our PayPal to the people? So we're not gaining anything financial, because I can speak for me and the brothers who are in the circle. We have our own careers. We don't make our money from Black folks. So we're doing this out of love. We put more into this than we get out of it. So what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? And somebody said you have to gain trust. Trust in who? Who do you have to trust in? You don't trust yourself?
Well, the first thing you should do is believe in yourself, trust yourself. Because if you don't do that, nothing else stands.
Yeah, you got to trust yourself, and because you're going to be dealing with people of like mind. It's you going to be involved in the process. It's not like the BAIO is sitting outside of you, or nationhood is. Forget the BAIO. Let's talk about nationhood. It's not as if nationhood is sitting outside of you. You are a part of the nation. You can choose to be a part of it, or you can choose not to be.
One of the things I think is why we sometimes are like this, brother, is because Black people, we've been culturally conditioned, whether it be from our families, the society that we live in, we've been culturally conditioned to believe in fairy tales. Like, for example, when Obama ran for president, he pushed the whole hope. Jesse Jackson was pushing the whole keep hope alive, hope. We're always being taught in a sort of an ideology of hope and dreams, and I hope, to the point that we don't trust ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we've been raised off of hope and dreams. Okay? To quote from Dr. King. And that's our problem. We got to, now when you look at, and I don't like making these comparisons, but it's just the reality. White people don't raise their kids on hope and dreams. They raise their kids to be captains of industry, to go out here and kick ass.
That's because they have a country.
Exactly. They have what? They have land.
Yeah, they got a nation.
Which they stole. They got a nationhood. Okay, and they got infrastructure, which they used us, our ancestors, to build this damn infrastructure in this country. I don't want to sound like a Baptist preacher or anything, but it's the truth, Brother Hollis.
Right, 100%. But we get caught up in all of these little side issues. It's like, that's why, like I said, it depends. If you're having a problem with your electricity in your household, you don't call a plumber. You call an electrician, right? So my thing is, who we should be talking to, or who should be involved in the discussion, depends on what we're discussing. If we're having a discussion about how to build a water treatment center, then what am I involved in that conversation for? I don't know nothing about that. If we're having a discussion on how to build a bridge, why is Holip involved in that conversation? I don't know how to build a bridge.
Brother Hollett.
But there are people that know how to build bridges. There are people that know how to build structures. There are people that know how to build irrigation. There's people that know about electricity. There's people that know about piping. There are people that know about geothermal energy and solar energy and all of that stuff. We have people in our nation that deal with these things. So that's the question. The thing is, who's going to be involved in the discussion depends on what we're talking about.
Oh, let me ask this question, Brenda. Brother, you making good points. By the way, I gotta tell you this. We get. You know, we're gonna Lionston. We're gonna need to start filling. We're getting some good questions in the chat room that we're gonna need to get to this, brother. Let me ask one of the questions. Brenda Johnson says, "Have any members moved to the nation in Africa?"
Have they moved there or are they already there? I don't know. There probably have been some people that's moved there, but more than likely there's people that's already there.
Okay.
Or if they are, they're planning on going there. Because I know there's some people that's trying to get to Ghana and they're planning on going to Ghana. There's people that are communicating in Kenya who are planning to go to Kenya. So it's like a process.
Okay. Now, we have someone in the chat room that was asking about sexuality, whether that matters. And I wrote back to them that right now, it's right now for me, I'm not going to speak for you, brother, but for myself personally, I don't really have the time to get into people's sexuality. I know who I am. I know what I like. I like women, and that's all that matters to me. What I want to focus more on is not so much sexuality. And we know that people have their different opinions about it because of religious beliefs, that we want to keep our community, a community that's based on a man is a man, a woman is a woman. Understandable. But what we need more than anything right now is we need to collectively be black first. I'm not into this pro-black thing. I believe we need to be black first, because being pro-black, anybody can be pro-black. A white person can say they're pro-black. Anybody can claim to be pro-black based on the philosophy. I believe being black first is about exactly the things that you're talking about today. We need to be focusing on these land and nationhood and infrastructure issues. That's what we need to be focused on, having a black agenda. Answering these questions that Brother Holip has brought up, the questions of, do we have a black agenda? Okay.
Do you want me to address that sexuality thing?
You can address it, brother. We can address it.
Right now in America, I believe they passed legislation making same-sex marriage legal, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Right here in America, you have homosexuality in America. Have you revoked your American citizenship?
Last time I checked, I haven't revoked mine.
Has anybody that has a problem with homosexuality revoked? Are they no longer American? Did they revoke their citizenship and move to another country because of it? Yes or no in the chat room. What is your brave, bold stance against sexuality? What's your brave, bold stance to show that you ain't going for the homosexuality that exists in this nation? And keep in mind, I don't even get involved in these discussions because it's pointless and it's irrelevant.
Well, I think,
because I believe that a lot of people and I hate to be real and be blunt. I think you're full of shit. I think that you don't really have no real hard line when it comes to most of the stuff that you say that you don't like, because you're still here. You're still here. You're still dealing with police brutality. They still going upside your head. You probably work at an office where you got about 3-4 homosexuals that's surrounding you in your cubicle. And what are you doing about it? You're not doing nothing. So don't come online and then all of a sudden now you're going to be hardcore heterosexual man with the H on your chest. I'm calling bullshit. It's what we call in the BAIO a Negro stalling tactic. And you're going to see Negro stalling tactics all throughout this discussion, probably in the chat room. I'm not dissing the chat room, but you're going to see some where people is going to be talking a whole lot of bullshit to try to bring the movement to a halt. The question that I have for those people is this: do you believe that Black people should have a nation of their own? Yes or no? And I want, and if you can, this is your show, brother, but I would love for you to ask those people to put that in the chat room, the answer to that question.
Well, no, let's do it
Yes
right now.
or no.
If everyone in the chat room and those listening agree with what the brother's saying, put a yes or a no in the chat room. Because we do talk about this stuff quite a bit, about how we need to have our own. Come on now, we all say these things, we need to have our own. Well, isn't that part of having your own?
And please let me know who says no. Because if they say no, why are you here?
Okay, we got the questions coming in. Everyone's saying yes, of course. Yes, all day.
Now, do you see what's going on right now? If you got all yeses, do you see what's going on? What that's called is consensus.
Mm.
And if we call, and now you see how unified that consensus is?
Oh, yes.
This is what we need to focus on and stop focusing on shit that brings us apart.
Mm.
See, this is why if you want the right answer, you got to ask the right question. And I know how to ask the right question, because I don't go for all of the BS that everybody talks about. I don't care about sexual issues. I don't care about swirling. I don't care about any of this crap, light skin, dark skin, weaves and perms, black man versus black woman. I don't have, you know what those are? Those are show topics for people that want to take advantage of and make money and profit off of our dysfunction. That's all that is, so that they can have a new show to talk about something that's dysfunctional in the black community. Mm-hmm. And give me a GoFundMe or Patreon or PayPal, so I can keep telling you the same shit and telling you how black folks is fucked up.
Mm-hmm. And that definitely sells on YouTube. Okay, I mean, there's people who have tons of subscribership.
Oh, you're gonna make a lot of money if you want to talk about all the bullshit. You're gonna make a lot of money. Mm-hmm. You're gonna make a lot of money off of black folks. And what really disturbs me, here we are. We have a free site. Nobody's asking you to contribute anything. Nobody's asking for you to draw any blood so we can get your blood type. We're asking you to sign up. If you agree with nationhood, sign into a site and get with people in your area.
Okay.
But you giving us a hard time, but you super chat and Patreon and PayPal people who's telling you every single show black people can't do shit. Black people's fucked up. Black people blah 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 blah. Mm-hmm. But you'll pay them for them to tell you that negative message over and over and over again. But then you're gonna fight us who's coming with something with a vision for the future. But we're the problem. We're the problem, but the person telling you that you don't have a future, the person telling you that the white man is Thanos, that you can't beat the white man, that you can't have your own land, that you can't control your social, economic, and political environment, that you're just going to always be under the boot of white supremacy. Those are the people that you want to give a PayPal to, a Patreon to, a super chat to.
You know what, brother? That's what sells on YouTube. People get lots of views and subscribership out of that. I'm going to tell you right now, what you're talking about tonight and what you talk about on your platform, you're not going to get a large following. But you know what? It's not necessary to have the quantity. You want quality. You want people that's with what you're talking about. People that are dedicated to what you're talking about, that are with that. So people are not going to want to listen to this sort of stuff in some cases. In some cases they will, because people like sensationalism. That's why on YouTube, for example, someone can drag your name in the mud and it'll get a lot of views, because let's be honest with you, black folks in general, we like the bullshit sometimes, and we like the in it. And some people, I'm not saying anybody in the chat room, because I have respect for everyone that I see in the chat room tonight. It's very good people in there, good black folks. But there are some black people who simply get on these social sites, go into chat rooms because they like the entertainment value.
Yeah, they love the drama. They love the back and forth. To be honest with you, I sometimes get up praying that somebody makes a Holip diss video. I wish somebody would try to diss the B.A.I.O. You know why? Because if you do that, people are going to know who we are, first of all, who never heard of us, and then they're going to go to us to see why you dissed us. And when they come into our circle and they hear what we have to say, you've just gained another member for us. So diss away. Because I'm not, listen, this is, first of all, the BAIO is not about me. I'm just a member of it, and I believe in what the principles are of it. But there's plenty of people, and you can look in the chat room right now, and plenty of people in our social network that are much more brilliant than I am, much more intelligent than I am, and doing a lot more things than I am. You know what I'm saying? So this is not, I'm not like, I know that the people in the BAIO will laugh when I say this, but I'm not the T'Challa of nationhood. I'm not the Black Panther. I'm not your protector. You know, I'm just a member, just like everybody else, and I want to be a part of this nation, and I want to be a part of this growing community of Black folks who want their own. Because I'm just getting tired of being around Black folks who are constantly shooting down any attempt at Black people at organizing. Because that's what this is. The BAIO is basically organizing our people.
Okay. So Brenda Johnson in the chat room had made a statement saying that is the BAIO sort of like a think tank for Black people, or is it not only that, but more?
It's that and more. It's basically a social network. What we're trying to do, the ultimate goal is to we want to find out how many people, Black people in America, want a nation of their own. And where are they? How many Black people in, what state are you in, brother?
I'm in California, brother.
How many people in California want a state of their own? Wouldn't it be nice if you knew that? Because then you would be able to get, you know, like what you were saying about how you feel there's no hope and you feel frustrated. You wouldn't feel frustrated if you had people of like mind that you can call up and be around and hang out with.
Yes.
You would have a nice circle of people, because guess what? When you're talking about nationhood, you got to socialize with people. You can't be antisocial and be for nationhood, because nationhood is about people. And if people are connecting and getting together and communicating with each other and getting to know each other and building and doing things with each other, like take for instance, if there's people in the BAIO who are interested in going to Ghana, they join the Ghana chapter. And they talk to people that's actually in Ghana. There's a connection there. So when you go over to Ghana, you're not just going, you know, blind. You actually have somebody that's boots on the ground that can help you with your transition over to Ghana.
Wow.
This is why we need to connect. It's all about building the we, building the us, building the our. We need to stop referring to each other in these vague, abstract terms and start referring to each other in tangible and concrete terms. And the only way we can do that, we got to know who each other are. You got to know who you are. See, on the internet, you can hide behind a screen name.
That's right.
When you come to the BAIO, if you're in a local chapter, you're going to meet people. People are going to know that you're Black. So you can pretend. I mean, I'm quite sure there's some people that have joined the BAIO who might be white and might be other races that's in there, so they want to see what's going on. But guess what? You're going to have to go and meet people at some point. Because what's really going on in the BAIO is going to be offline, not online. The online thing is just the infrastructure that we have in place to get these people to connect it with each other. But what's really happening is going to be offline, when people are meeting up and getting together with each other. So you can play all you want to. Doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you're going to be exposed. And what we want is people that's interested in nation. Everybody that said yes in that chat room should be joining the BAIO. If you are saying that you think Black folks should have a nation of their own, there's absolutely no reason why you are not a member of the BAIO. Especially if you're a member of Facebook. You mean to tell me the BAIO is as intrusive in your life as Facebook is? You got a Twitter account? You got a YouTube account?
Got every social.
Are you on Instagram?
That's right.
So you can be on all of those social media forums. But then when it comes to being with the BAI on the BAI Ning site, which doesn't charge you anything, and you can actually get something out of it because you're meeting people of like mind, now all of a sudden we got to see, well, damn, let me get, can y'all give me a PowerPoint presentation? I don't know, brother. How can you convince me that nationhood is what's best for me? Come on, we ain't playing that game.
Wow.
We're not playing that game. If you are like that, we don't want you in the BAIO. We only want people that are interested in land, infrastructure, nationhood, and controlling the socioeconomic and political context of their reality. If you're not interested in that, if you're on the fence about that, this is not the organization for you.
Wow. Brother, you let me ask you, brother, you just put it where the ghost could get it. Let me ask you a couple questions. And Lionsden, if you have anything you want to ask the brother, go right ahead. Step in anytime, brother. You made, I've overheard or listened to another video where you specifically, or the discussion was specific around the increase in membership as it relates to one, and I call him Donald Trump. How has one Donald Trump sort of empowered people to join your organization? Because there's many out there that have said that Donald Trump might be the best thing that's happened to Black people from this aspect only, that it's making us wake up and realize what America really is. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Oh, just to mention, I got probably like 10 more minutes with you because I got to cut out.
Oh, yeah, brother. That's right. We gotta let you
go. The BAIO was formed during the Barack Obama years.
Okay.
So you can imagine what that was like. You think we're going through resistance now? It was nothing compared to when we did it when Obama, because when Obama got elected, Black folks thought, hey, we made it. You know, like that was a really big deal for Black folks. And so the BAIO forming at that time, we had a lot of resistance because people were thinking, well, now, you know, Black folks is finally starting to do this. The reason why we formed it during the Obama years, it wasn't because Obama was elected into office. It really had nothing to do with that. It was just timing. Because we don't care about the presidency. Who the president is irrelevant to Black people here in America. You know, don't think that Donald Trump, like, that's why we say having Trump in office is actually better for Black folks, because it shatters that illusion that you're American. It shatters it. Donald Trump lets you know, no, you're not American. You're not white. That's what America is. When he says make America great again, he means make America white again.
Exactly.
It has nothing to do. So I don't have a problem with Donald Trump per se, because I think that if you have an intelligent Black person and they went through the Obama years and they saw how, and I'm not going to dog Barack Obama, because I think Barack Obama in a lot of ways, just as an individual, I think there's a lot that people can take away from him. I'm not going to dog him out, because he's not really relevant to what we have to do. But just the mere fact that there's some Black kids that actually grew up knowing that, like, grew up with a Black president and never had to experience a white one until this idiot came into office, that within itself is good for me. You know, if Obama didn't do anything but that was cool. To let Black kids know that I'm used to seeing one of my people in power. Because when hopefully that Black child, who should be about 8 or 9 right now, hopefully joins the BAIO, and that way he can really see his people in power. We don't have to do much convincing with him. But with these old heads that's so used to oppression and have become misery merchants and have turned the struggle into a fetish.
Yes.
It's not going to be much you can do with them. It really isn't.
Well, I've been saying that I think it's going to start with our young. We have to work with our young. Some old heads are not going to change the way they think. And I think, like I said, not every Black person is going to go along with this. Some are going to want to stay on this American plantation and stay with it. So Lionsden, because the brother only has a short amount of time left, you have anything you want to ask him in short, brother? And Lionsden, when Brother Hollett leaves, stay on with me for just a moment before we end the program officially. But do you have anything you want to ask the brother?
Not a question, but I would want to make an announcement to him that I would love to join the BAIO.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Hopefully, I'll put the link in. Like I said, I'm posting the About Us link so you can read what it's about, because you should always read and know what an organization is about before you join it. So I want everybody to click on that link, read what it's about, and if you agree with it, and if you think it's something that has value, join and go to your state local chapter. Find out who else is in your state and reach out to them.
Oh, this is what's important. I just want a reminder. I put Brother Holip, I put his chapter, his channel in the description of this video. I put the actual website to the Ning page in there. And brother, before you leave, can you just name a few of the chapters that are here in the American plantation? Where are they located at currently in America?
All over. Every state is represented in the BAIO.
So, for example, let's say, for example, if I live close to the Bay Area, let's say you got Oakland, you got San Francisco, is there a possibility that I could find a chapter to join close to my area, brother?
Well, the chapter you would join would be the California chapter, but within the California chapter, you will find people in the Bay Area.
Oh, okay, so it's a mixture. That's great.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's basic, and it's loosely organized in a sense. We want it to be organically organized where people get together. We want it to become, we want the people to take over. We want the people to build this. You know what I'm saying? So it's not any micromanaging going on in the BAIO.
Okay.
And another thing, just to let people know, in case anybody questions, you know, whether I'm Bilderberg backed. When you go to my YouTube channel, my channel is totally demonetized. And I did that before YouTube apocalypse became. I did this years ago because I don't give a damn about YouTube. YouTube is not going to stop me from expressing myself. So that's why when you click on my videos, you're not going to see any ads. You're not going to see any of that. You're going to get straight to my content. And of course, you know, I suffer because of that, because not many people know about me. Because YouTube will algorithm you out. So the only way people are going to know about me is on shows like this and people in the chat room passing the information around. The only way people is going to know about the BAIO is by word of mouth.
Well, brother, let me tell you something. If you haven't already done this, I urge you to do it. I have interviewed Brother Yusef, who is the owner of Black Junction TV. And Black Junction TV has no corporate money. It's all being financed from Brother Yusef and his partner and assistant. It's all black. And that is what
I joined the same day you told me about it.
Thank you. I was going to tell you, brother, to open up create a channel over there, because this video that we're doing right now, I'm going to place it over there. I'm going to viral this video. I'm going to push this video out further out. And then once I get a chance, I'm going to record, but I'm already recording it now. It's going to be on my podcasting system as well. And I'm going to push it out through my podcasting system. Will put it on iHeart. I'm going to put it on my Google Play Store platform. So I'm going to get this. This is very important. I'm going to get this out to as many social medias as possible. Lions then set up our iTunes, so this will be on iTunes as well. I think Spotify will be on there once I finish this recording. It's recording right now as we speak. I'm going to push it out there. This needs to be pushed out there, brother. I want to thank you for the time that you've given us, brother. This is the reason why I had to have you on, because I'm looking at solutions. I'm getting tired of just talking about what the problems are all the time. And I'm getting tired of just sitting up here talking about the white man this and the white man that. We know what the white man has been doing to us. It's time for us to get involved in organizations like yours that are about action. That's what I'm trying to do on here.
Right. And I want to thank you for allowing me on the show and talking to the people. I'm always down to talk to the people and always down to explain what the concept of the BAIO is about. And I just one last thing I want to say before I go. If you can, you know, post a link to Black Junction TV on there. so people can join. But I just want to say this, that if you have an organization or movement of your own, that doesn't conflict with the BAIO. Perfect example, Dynas Demir of Search for Uhuru channel. He has his own brand and his own thing going on, but guess what? He's a member of the BAIO. So it doesn't conflict with whatever your brand is. It doesn't, being a part of the BAIO doesn't conflict with that. You can still do your own thing or whatever. The only thing we request is when you come into the BAIO is that you stay within the parameters of land, infrastructure, nationhood, and don't try to take the group into some other direction that's against the principles of what the group is about. As long as you can do that, we cool. You know? But I want to thank y'all brothers for having me, and I definitely appreciate the time. And I hate to, you know, cut out on you, but I gotta gotta break out right now.
You're a few hours ahead of us, so brother, I want to thank you. Thank you for being with us. There he is.
Peace, y'all.
Peace, everybody. Thank you,
brother.
So there you have it. There you have it, brother Hollett. He just left us. The brother is very dynamic. I need everybody to be open-minded. Check out the B.A.I.O. Check out what it's about. It's the, from what I can see, the brother is the real deal. I've checked out some of the stuff on his channel or the videos and the ideology. The brother is the real deal. Lions Den, make sure that you stay on with me. And let me play this again, because this is very powerful. The brother uses this in some of his introductions of his videos. Let me play this. I love that the brother put this on his videos. Oops. Let me stop that there and hit this. There we go.
The black man serves the white man. Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do enriches the European?
All right. Lions Den, brother, I want to thank you for doing a great job moderating and helping out, brother, coming on board. Everybody in the chat room, make sure you subscribe to Brother Lions Den's channel. Brother Lions Den, I've got to, you know what I got to do next time? I've got to get a link to your channel so I can pop it right on in there, brother. But everybody check out Brother Lions Den. He does a really great reaction cam to everything that's happening. And if you haven't already, make sure you check out my latest video. Me and Lions Den did a podcast radio video where we talked about what's happening in Chicago. Please check that out. And make sure you share this video in your social media. Spread it around, share, subscribe, hit the like buttons. We love it. We appreciate everybody who's come aboard. Next thing that me and Lions Den will be working on over this weekend, if not tonight or tomorrow or sometime this weekend, we're going to get into the situation with these black preachers. I was appalled. I feel insulted to hear these black preachers, or hear one of them talk about how Donald Trump is the most pro-black president in history. And John Gray, Brother John Gray, gets up there, meets with the man, knows he shouldn't have did that, and now he wants to do damage control, talking about with this whole love everybody stuff that he talks. The bottom line is there's nothing pro-black about Donald Trump at all. And for these black preachers to be doing this, and I said this, these black preachers, they always cart them out to pacify us. The black people are waking up to real reality. Rosalind, thank you for being here, sister. I see you, Sister Rosalind. Lions, then you have anything you want to add, brother, before we end, put a crescendo on this tonight?
You know, I enjoyed the brother from the BAIO. I just basically just while we was chatting, I would just basically just apply for the BAIO. I'm just waiting for their approval to accept my invitation. But the truth of the matter is that I'm like I said, I enjoying this, and basically it shows that we as a people, we need guys like Holip, Holip, I'm sorry, I gotta pronounce his name right. But we definitely need guys like him to really preach the truth. And that's exactly what he is. When I heard him, you can tell and we can felt his truthfulness. And he's telling like it is. Like, hey, if you basically don't like this, then don't join the organization. And so I really enjoy this guy. I mean, I really enjoy what we're having. And I hope we can bring him back pretty soon because he's really an interesting guy, to interview.
I'm going to bring him back. Now, check this out. We've got Sister Cookie who says, I didn't like the coded language that the Chicago mayor used in the speech. Look, everybody, we talked about that. I agree with you. We talked about that in the video that I'm going to put that video in the chat room.
Right.
In case people didn't see that video. And I hope that some did see that video. I'm going to put that video in the chat room because Ron Emanuel was talking in a coded way. But you notice one thing about him, he never said what he was going to do to deal with the problem. Now, we know exactly. Now, the police officer or his lynchman gave a press conference talking about that the reason why the shootings happened in Chicago was because of block parties. That there were a whole bunch of block parties throughout Chicago, and that all the block parties were in the southwest side area, primarily of Chicago. So they're trying to say they're going to the way to deal with this is to put more police on the streets. Look. Ron Emanuel has been the mayor in Chicago long enough to have did something about what's going on in Chicago. And like I said in that video, Black people, we've got to step up our game and get on code and say enough is enough. We're not going to shoot one another. We're not going to disrespect one another. Now, that's just the damn truth, Lions Den.
Info. I want to say something about that, too.
Go right ahead.
Okay. First of all, I'm just listening to Tariq Nasheed's show earlier today. And what the brother said makes sense. That, we're hearing that like 66 people been shot, 70-something people been shot. And it's kind of odd that nobody didn't get arrested for those shootings. Isn't that odd? Isn't that odd that nobody even get arrested for that? And it's really odd because, like I said, it's interesting that it happened on weekend or on holidays. Because remember, if you're really a gangbanger, they don't care if it's a holiday or a weekend or even a weekday. When they're going to get you, they're going to get you. So it's really an odd situation, and I'm hearing about it. And I got a feeling, and I'm like I said before, it's not a conspiracy theory. You can check it out for you on your own. But the thing of it is that white supremacists, and this is what Tariq Nasheed was saying, that white supremacists basically used to work for the military complex, and then obviously that basically they are tied with Chicago police, part of them with the Chicago police. So it doesn't make any sense of how many people, 66 people or 70-some people been shot. That is not normal for anybody.
Well,
and that's just really just making open everybody's mind.
As we stated in our podcast that we did, Lions Den, we did touch on the fact that there is a corrupt system in Chicago. The political system is corrupt. We mentioned that. We brought up the statistics. The police department in Chicago is a corrupt police department. There have been rumors that people believe that maybe some of these cops are killing Black men. There's in women and children. There's people who believe that maybe there's Black sites. There's been talk about Black people going missing in Chicago. Nobody wants to talk about these Black sites. I remember hearing about this on the Joe Madison show, and it didn't get much traction. There's theories that you got police officers trying to create friction between gangs so that they will shoot each other. So there's a lot, and then there's possibly gangs killing. So it's a lot going on. I also mentioned in that video that a lot of the guns that get in Chicago are coming from Indiana. Why has Ron Emanuel, why has he not created a task force to look into the guns that are coming in from the neighboring states? Everybody else knows this. Why hasn't he done something to neutralize the guns that are coming into Chicago from the states? They say on those crimes, I put up the statistics on the video. They say that most of the crime is happening in the dense populated areas of west side of Chicago.
You're right.
If you're saying that all this is happening in the west side, then why can't you get a handle on it when it's in one part of the damn city? If that's even true. Now, why? What are they doing about that? Why? That's the question. The answer, we may never know. We know that we know that young black men, and I showed it in the video on the chart, that it is young black men that are being killed in Chicago at high numbers. It ain't Latino men, it ain't Asian men, white men, it's young black males being killed. Now, whether it's the gang situation where you got young black men being killed by other young black men, we know that's an element. Whether it's the police officers doing corrupt things, it's a whole bunch of stuff. But I refuse, Lions Den, to set up here and say that Chicago is only violent because of black people, when violence was there, like I said in the video, when the Italians, the Jews, and the Irish had gangs in New York and in Chicago.
I agree.
They brought crime and corruption there way before black folks were even damn there. Okay, so let's not paint the narrative that criminality and crime is just synonymous to black people. But I'm not going to be an apologist for black people that are killing each other, because if there are black people out there that are doing these murders, and there are black people that know who's doing this, these people need to be dealt with, because I'm sick of this. I think it was a couple of years ago that a baby in Chicago got shot.
Yeah.
And while we're sitting up here arguing, making fun of one another on YouTube and social media, talking about one another, ain't nobody prepared to take care of what's going on in Chicago right now. And that includes me and you too, Lions Den. We're not prepared.
Exactly. Not at all.
But we're very prepared to crack open our mics and talk about black folks like a dog on social media. And then act like you're somebody's friend. Act like you're the friend of black folks when you're talking and about black folks like a dog. I'm going to keep saying this. We got to get away from that. Got to get away from that. And Tariq makes a very good point. He makes a very good point. For there to be, I think, 70 or more people shot, I think there was 12 fatalities, and about 72, 73, 77, somewhere in the 70s of black folks that were shot. Tariq is absolutely right. How can there be those many shootings in the city of Chicago and there not be one damn arrest? And we know that just like in Maryland and Baltimore, they got all type of police cameras in Chicago. They got all kind of police swarming the damn place. And just like we talked about on the video, you've got these damn bait cars in Chicago where they're putting shoes and they're putting. Go ahead and talk about it, Lions, then before we end it. Talk about that bait truck.
Like a tractor trailer full with Nike, expensive Nike shoes, was parked in the south side of Chicago and the west side of Chicago. And the people, they already knew something was going on when they keep having it on their neighborhoods for no apparent reason. So they knew that it was a setup. It's called a bait truck. When you have bait trucks sitting in the park of the black neighborhoods in Chicago, and basically a lot of black people in the community know what's going on. They knew there was a bait truck, and they were smart enough not to even go near it, because they know if they go near it, Chicago police will arrest them right on the spot. So that to me shows that Chicago police is up to no good. Because why would you even park a tractor trailer in the west side or the south side of Chicago, knowing that? Go ahead.
Brother Duvian said he's sick of the shit too. Just stop it. Sonia C says you could not tell they were not black men. One mask looked just like Willie D. Okay. Then Sister Rosalind says, I was mad as hell, she says. Okay. The other brother down here, what's that name? I was happy the black men were protecting the children, though they did their job.
Mm-hmm.
How do you pronounce that name?
I said Adwa. It's Adwa. Adwa. Yeah.
Thank you, Adwa, for that statement. And make sure you, if any of you that's new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. We're gonna keep doing this. So, folks, just let you know, me and Lions Den will continue doing editorial reviews and podcasts like the one that we just dropped today. We'll be doing those. We'll probably be doing one on those preachers or some other issue. I'm going to keep bringing interviews. I'm not going to sit up here and do live streams to waste time. I'm bringing hard-hitting people on. Now, this is the reality. You're going to probably agree with some people that I bring on, and you're not going to agree with others. That's just life. That's just life. Okay? Some people are going to have perspectives that you agree with. There's some perspectives that you will not agree with. But I've got some more live streaming to do with other guests that I'm bringing on. So they'll be coming very soon. Tomorrow, I believe, and I got to get in contact with them tonight, possibly, or tomorrow. I'm supposed to go, no, Sunday, Lions Den, I'll be going on with Brother Garima. Okay. The brother that I had on. I'm supposed to go on his show on Sunday. So I need you to come over there and support that. Everybody in the chat room, come over and support. Saturday, I plan to do something. I think maybe me and you, brother, when you get off work, I think we might need to do something Saturday, brother.
Okay.
Now, it may not be a live stream. We may need to record our podcast together.
Okay.
And then I'll release that podcast at a later date. But we'll talk about it. I don't know. I may end up doing another live stream tomorrow. I know Brother Gab Talk Media. I've got to interview that brother as well. He's been waiting in the wings for us to do something together. I've got to get in. I got a group of brother called the Black Business Wealth that I might be doing a live stream with them tomorrow. I got to connect back with them. There's a bunch of people that I've got to connect with. There's a brother out there who is dynamic. He goes by the name, the Minister of Health. The Minister of Health. He's called the Minister of Health. He's been on Brother Leon's show on Sirius XM. Brother Leon interviewed him just a couple of weeks ago. I think the brother's been on television. He's been on various programs on the social media talking about health as it relates to Black people, our health. I talked to him. I got to get back in contact with him. I'm bringing the Minister of Health on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've got to get the Sister Salt MB. I got to get that sister on. I've got to get Sister Shirley. Now, Sister Shirley is a Black Republican, but she ain't just any old Black Republican. Sister Shirley is about Black people. An organization called Urban Game Changers, Black Urban Game Changers. She talks about what's happening with immigrants in LA and how Black folks are being mistreated in Los Angeles, getting caught up in this immigrant issue. Black people are in Los Angeles, homeless, living in the box tent town. She's about economic improvement for the Black community, but I don't agree with Republicans or Democrats, but the sister is about Black people. She's dynamic. She tells it like it is. I first saw her on Brother Dinah's show, Search for Uhuru. Shout out for Brother Uhuru. Brother, search for Uhuru if you're listening. She's dynamic. I'm getting her on to talk about Pacific issues related to how Black people are catching a lot of hell in California, and about her Urban Game Changers organization. So she's a sister that I'm going to bring up too. Who else do I have on the docket? There's a few. Brother B. Miles. the brother B.A.I.O, the conscious B.A.I.O 84 conscious channel. I got
brother
B.A.I.O, and peace to you, brother B.A.I.O. Say his name right. Brother B.A.I.O of the conscious channel. If you're listening, I've got your email, brother. I know we contacting each other. I'm going to be emailing you. I'm getting brother B.A.I.O 84 of the conscious channel. He's coming on too. And we're just gonna keep it rolling, brother. We're gonna keep this thing rolling. So with that said, brother, let's give out some peace. Let's give out some love to the chat room. Lions Den, go ahead and spread the love, Lions Den. Say them names, and we're gonna get into the ending music, and we're gonna end this.
Gotcha. I was seeing inside the chat room, Rosman, a big away, the Black Order, Brother Danubian, Kay Hillis, Filthy Frank, Makem, Brenda Johnson, Adway, I'm gonna try to pronounce her name right. Fly C, let's see here, going back. There's a lot of people that we Island Boy, the Crenshaw Smith, let's see, Kofi O. Newton, couples of Aframa. Let's see, Bella Begay, who's a member of the B.A.I.O. Let's see here, going way back. Avery Hodge, Gab Talk Media, Sister Brenda Johnson, Six Figure Davis. Let's see here, Takia Jet, Peggy Roaster. I love you too, Peggy. Let's see here. I'm trying to go way back real quick because I don't want to miss anybody. Let's see here. Let's see. I guess that's all the people so far. I guess that's it.
Lions.
Oh, brother Newman.
Hey, brother. Marlowe's Corner. Hey, brother Marlowe Corner. I gave a shout out to you. We had brother Holip Sism, brother Holip on from the B.A.I.O. and he loves boxing. I told him about your channel. He's gonna check your channel out. And I know I haven't been over to your channel in a while, brother, but I will be in your chat room. I don't know if you're doing something tonight, or I will be back in there, brother, to give you love. I haven't forgotten about Marlowe's Corner. I love Marlowe's Corner. Everybody subscribe to Marlowe's Corner if you like beautiful, incredible boxing content. If you are new to the channel, once again, subscribe to the channel because I'm going to tell you right now, you know, you need to know that you're listening to the Information Man channel. Information
is power.
That's right.
You're listening
You're definitely listening, and I appreciate that you're listening and taking the time out of your busy schedule. So, Lions Den, once again, check out Lions Den's channel. What is it called? Is it the Lions Den or is it just Lions Den?
It's Lions Den.
Lions Den. The brother does great reaction cam videos. So support him. Lions Den, we got to put some work in, brother. I was proud of the video that we did about Chicago today. That was the first time we put something together like that in a long time. We're going to do it again. We're going to probably, I don't know if we're going to talk about these old Uncle Tom preachers or whether we talk about some other subject matter, brother. You'll be the guest of that, brother. But we're going to do another podcast maybe tomorrow or sometime so I can put that together, put the right edits in, and ship that off to the good people out here to digest that and that content. So thank you, everybody, for being supportive. Lions Den, I love you. And brother,
love you, brother.
Brother Lions Den, I'm gonna play the music, but I don't want you to leave. Stay on. We can have a private conversation. Love everybody that is really, I'm gonna say this right now. I don't give a damn. I love everybody that's really supporting what we're trying to do. I love those of you, Afrocentric Anatomy TV. You sent me a message, sister, a comment saying that you got blocked. And I'm gonna tell you right now, there's no way in hell I would ever block you, sister. Somebody did that. Something happened. We know that YouTube does this sort of stuff to people. But sister, I'm glad to see you in here. I love everybody. Those of you that are supporting us, I want to say again, thank you. because I want people that are really appreciate what we're trying to do. We're not arrogant brothers. We're humble brothers. And you saw a lot of stuff has been going on in YouTube, and you haven't seen me come out with any pushback videos and get all greasy and all that kind of stuff. No. I don't need to do all of that kind of stuff. Just keep supporting what we're doing that is positive. We're going to keep it strong. We're going to keep doing what we're doing, and we're going to keep bringing information to the people as best we can. And thank you, Lions Den. You are the best. Make sure you stay aboard, though.
Got it.
Woo! Love it. Love this one. COG, thank you for this beat, brother. COG, thank you for this beat.
Wait a minute, info. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, info. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, info. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, info. Wait a minute. It's the info man and the Lions Den. 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 It's the info man, yup. It's the Lions Den, yup. You can't fuck with us, nope. So stop trying then. Still, it's the info man, yup. It's the Lions Den, yup. You can't fuck with us, nope. So stop trying then. Still heavyweight, so they try to infiltrate with hate. Knock my mill up off my plate, but we do not take the bait. Don't hesitate. When it's time to do it, we still do they bullshit.
I'm stopping it right there. You know why I'm stopping it right there? COG said some things that I love in that song. He said, stop trying to hate. You can't fuck with us. Stop trying to hate. That's very relevant, brother. I love that COG made this song the way he did, because you're going to have haters. You're going to have people that are going to do things, but you have to keep going forward, going and driving forward towards this positive goals and aims. Go forward. Don't get in the mud. No necessary need to do that. Lions Den, we must go forward on our mission. Go forward.
Yes.
Always. And realize that not everybody is your friend who portrays themselves as your friend. COG song, when you listen to the music, it is a representation of what we are about and some of the trials and tribulations that we will find ourselves dealing with when you put yourself out there on these platforms. But we must remain positive. And that's why COG, he did a good justice in the way he wrote this song. Here we go again.
The info man, yup, it's the Lions Den, yup. You can't fuck with us, nope. So stop trying then. Still, it's the info man, yup, it's the Lions Den, yup. You can't fuck with us, nope. So stop trying then. Still heavyweight, so they try to infiltrate with hate. Knocking my mill up off my plate, but we do not take the bait. Don't hesitate. When it's time to do it, we still do they bullshit like power steering fluid. Wait a minute, Lions Den. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Lions Den. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. It's the info man and the Lions Den. 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 Raise your ass up out your slumber. This ain't no dream. You can't fuck with Lion or info team. Raise your ass up out your slumber. This ain't no dream. You can't fuck with Lion or info team. Raise your ass up out your slumber. This ain't no dream. You can't fuck with Lion or info team. Raise your ass up out your slumber. This ain't no dream. You can't fuck with Lion or info team. It's the info man and the Lions Den. It's the info man and the Lions Den. It's the info man and the Lions Den. It's the info man and the Lions Den.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for your support.